So we're going to check in with our TV partner right now. Justin Hobbs, ABC 15 meteorologist, is working hard at ABC 15. Justin, what are we looking at for the high today? Are we looking at 116, 117? I know regardless, it's going to be brutal. How hot are you saying it's going to be today?
Yeah, absolutely brutal. We were forecasting 116. I'll tell you, as of 2:45, we did get an update. We have hit 116 degrees, so we've hit that number.
Oh,
But we typically see our high around like 3:30, so we still have some time today to see that temperature keep on climbing. Of course, I know that's not what we want to hear.
what's the record? What's the record for today?
Today's record's 118, so we're just shy of there right now. But again, it's 306 right now, so we still have a little bit of time to get there. We usually keep a really close eye between that 3:30 to 4 o'clock time frame. That's a lot of times when we see our highest temperature at Sky Harbor reported.
Yeah, so, we look here in Phoenix. I mean, it's the summer in Phoenix. It's hot. Like, it's not breaking news. But, coming off of last year when we had a record number of days above 110, a record number of days above 100, I'm curious, Justin, is there such thing as like a heat ceiling where there's a point where it can't actually get any hotter?
That's a great question. We've seen temperatures even higher than we've had here in Phoenix. Of course, you just go west, you can get a Death Valley, and with the warming climate that we're in, what is the ceiling at this point? It continues to climb. And like you said, last year we had that record number. We were well ahead of that this time last year. But today, 6 straight days now at 110 degrees plus. And we've got at least one more day ahead of us before we start to see a cool down, which I know we're all really looking forward to, especially to head into the weekend.
So going to have a little bit of a cool off. How cool are we looking there? Are we talking like below 100?
Oh,
I think we're going to be close to about 103, 102 here as we get close to Sunday. So as we get past Sunday, we're going to kind of level between 102 to 105 as we head into next week. But I will say some good news here as we head into next week. It does look like we are going to have an increase in moisture, which when there's more moisture in our atmosphere, it's harder to warm it. Think about boiling a bowl of water. It takes a little bit of time to get there versus dry air. So with that slight increase in moisture, I think temperatures, we're not looking at extreme heat next week. It's going to be closer towards normal, which is around 105 this time of year.
We're talking right now to Justin Hobbs, ABC 15 meteorologist. And, Justin, there are a lot of people who've been living in the Valley for quite some time, but we also have this population of folks that are moving here every single year. The Valley is growing. What is something most people misunderstand about heat waves in the desert? Are there any myths or surprising facts that you can share with us?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm one of those new people to the Valley. I've just been here since September, so I'm really getting baptized right now with the first full summer. But I'll tell you, I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning just coming here is how quickly that heat can get to you, whether you've been here for your whole life, if you're brand new here, the importance of making sure you're drinking that water, because oftentimes by the point that you are too low on water, it's already beginning to be too late. I was talking to one of my colleagues hiking the Grand Canyon, and they said, I didn't even realize I was starting to feel those symptoms. A friend noticed that. So you really have to stay on top of that. And in fact, if you're planning to be outside, make sure you're drinking a lot of water days in advance. Of course, please don't go out on those hiking trails when it is this hot, whether you've been here your whole life or you're brand new here. It is just not safe to do so.
Justin Hobbs, ABC 15 meteorologist, our TV partner over there. Justin, where's the monsoon? Monsoon season officially began on the 15th, which was Sunday. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean, hey, we're going to get rain on the 15th. Do you see any rain in the forecast? You did mention you saw a little bit of moisture out there, but I didn't get the sense that you saw any kind of monsoon rain coming our way.
I'd say for us here in the Valley, not quite so much. I will say, though, as we're getting into next week, we've got a low pressure system that's diving in from our west, and that's actually going to pull moisture up from that hurricane we've been tracking down the Pacific, Eric. It's going to pull that moisture up. Here's the downfall, though. I think that moisture is slightly a bit more to the east. So southeastern Arizona, I think we could start seeing some of those monsoon storms developing, looking like maybe starting Tuesday, but at least it's giving us a hint, a beginning. I know after last year's monsoon, we're all kind of on edge, like, when's it going to start? But we are expecting it to be more active as we get into the season. And if we start seeing it earlier, that typically is a sign that it is going to be more of an active season. But for here in the Valley, I've only got a very low end chance. In fact, I don't even think I'll put it in my 7-day forecast because I'm not 100% sold on it. By about Thursday, there was a very low chance of rain, and it's only a few of the model runs that are showing it. So I don't think we're looking at big chances yet here in the valley, but at least southeastern Arizona may start seeing things ramp up as we head into next week. Of course, we'll be watching for any of those dust storms from it.
You know, it used to be back in the day where the barometer had to reach a certain percentage for X number of days before we said we were in the monsoon season, per se. Now they've picked like a date on the calendar and says this is when it starts. Typically, when do we see that first big monsoon storm in Arizona? It's not usually in June, is it?
No, not June. I mean, we keep an eye on the dew points. Once they get around 55 for consistent, I believe it was like 4 days was the old wise tell. That's when we decided, okay, the monsoon moisture is here. Typically, though, at the early part of the season, we see a lot of dry storms. We, in fact, saw some dry storms in southeastern Arizona this past weekend, produced a big dust storm in Cochise County. But as we get closer towards that, around the first weekend into the second week of July, that's usually when we start seeing the monsoon season really getting underway. But of course, like we're expecting this season, it's going to be more active, and there's that possibility we could see it really starting earlier. So that's why we're keeping a close eye here as we head into the next week.
And that's why he's the meteorologist, because it's dew point, not barometric pressure. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Justin Hobbs, ABC 15 meteorologist. One more for you, Justin. I saw a term, I've heard it a little bit over the last few years, heat dome. I see that we've got a heat dome in place across a large portion of the United States. What the heck is a heat dome? Can we get a heat dome here in the valley?
Well, honestly, I would call what we're in right now, it is a heat dome. Ultimately, when you've got a strong area of high pressure, that's a heat dome. Basically, high pressure, when it sits right over top of you, it's squeezing the air, hence why it's called high pressure. And when think about back in like science class in 4th grade, when you think about molecules moving really fast together, you get all excited. That's what's happening. Our air molecules are moving so fast that they're warming up, they're getting energized. I kind of think about it like you're preparing to run a marathon. You get warmed up before you run it. That's what high pressure is, and ultimately that's what a heat dome is. And typically we see those last for pretty good periods. I mean, this one's lasting, we're at 6 days now at 110 plus.
Ooh, all right, Pamela, we're in the heat dome right now.
Oh my goodness. It's called summer in Arizona.
Justin,
exactly.
Justin Hobbs, ABC 15. Thank you so much for joining us, Justin. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching the Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.